What's up, guys? Back from Tennessee. Josh, hi. William, what's up? Yeah, I work on Sundays. Days I'm available. Can hardly see what I'm doing over there. Oh well. I'm using this foam. I'm doubling this up. I'm putting it on the ground. And I put my plywood on top of that. This is to help me seal so the aircrete doesn't leak out from underneath. Kenny, it goes. Hi, Scott. Yep, that's right. Way beyond Matrix. Winter is coming. Need to be done before then. Whew. What's up, guys? Just working on my shed. Hello, Rapid. This is gonna be Aircrete shed. Rapid. After I finish putting all the boards around and on the inside. Holy cow, these flies bite right through my socks. Oh man, worst things right now, these flies biting me. I have to go put some pants on. Anyway, after the boards are on all the way around and on the inside, I'll from the top pour the Aircrete in. So this is going to be just an Aircrete pour. After this, actually, the roof of this will be epic. So all of the walls are going to be Aircrete, but the roof I'm planning to do an epic mix. It's going to be an insulative mix. Um, it's not going to be the oak mix. It'll probably be the balsa mix, which the ratio is just adding some more styrofoam to the mix or perlite. I have to decide which one I want to do, either perlite or styrofoam. But the roof will be an epic mix. just because it's going to be a lot stronger. And holy cow, these flies! I think they're trying to eat me alive. Anyway, so that's the deal. But otherwise, all the walls are going to be Aircrete. So as soon as all the panels are up, I'll mix some Aircrete and I'll be pouring it in from the top. And I just have to redo some studs here on this front wall. I have to make the studs wider. So I'll be removing one and make these two wider. And it was just easier for me just to do everything 16 inches on center. But I need, I'll probably be making this a washer dryer room. So I need enough space for a washing machine to get in there. So that's why I got to widen those studs out. Otherwise, I'm just going to put the wood panels all the way around and on the inside. And then we'll be doing the Aircrete pour. You saw what I was doing. I'm putting screws in through the studs, through the wall, through the wood panels, because it just holds tighter instead of from the outside in, because it's just very little stud that the screw grabs onto, and it ends up making the hole a little bigger. Although the screws are sticking out, I find it grabs much better. So The outside ones, a lot of them I'm screwing in from the inside and letting the screws stick out, which make it dangerous. You just have to be careful not to scrape up against the screws sticking out. And on the inside ones, I have no option but to just screw them in through the studs. But it grabs way better the other way. So that outside panel holds much better. Flies! Yeah, I can't stand them either, man. Hello from Mexico. Hello. Just going through your messages here. Yeah, Epic can Rapid. Epic can work for it's really strong. Man, I'm gonna have to ask Mrs. Aircrete for some pants. Um, yeah, the Epic mix is really strong. Like a lot of people always ask about making a retaining wall out of Aircrete, and Aircrete just doesn't have that tensile strength. You know, you'd have to make really super thick walls. I mean, at that point, it just defeats the purpose. You'd be using so much cement and foam to make really, really thick walls to use them as a retaining wall. Whereas the Epic is the matrix that's created from the paper and the styrofoam, or the paper and perlite, which I've used, creates very strong system, which you've seen if you watch that hammer test. The paper and styrofoam, that matrix that's created, allows you to not have to put any extra reinforcing like rebar or wire mesh in it, because the paper and styrofoam are creating that already. So yeah, the Epic, it's the same price as Aircrete. What? I don't know. The Epic is the same price as Aircrete, in the sense that all you have to buy is cement, because the paper and the styrofoam you can get for free usually. And well, I've been getting my paper and styrofoam. The styrofoam I've been getting free. The paper, it's just been easier for me to buy the blown in insulation and just use that because it's already shredded paper. But I have looked into some recycling places that separate all the different types of papers, like magazine papers, from printing paper to newspapers. You could buy, I don't know, what is it, a 6,000 pound bundle for like 30 bucks or something, and you have more than enough paper to do a project. So yeah, Epic definitely would work great for a retaining wall or your earthship soil loads. How much marijuana can you grow in there? I don't know. I don't grow marijuana, but it's a 10 by 10, so I'm sure you could grow enough to make you happy. About 2 pound yield. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know nothing about growing marijuana, so if you try hard, yeah, 2 pounds not bad. If you take advantage of max height, anyways. But I do digress. Mr. Aircrete Harry, do you know of if Epic would be suitable for Earthship soil loads? Yes. Cut them off later. Yeah. Good thing about if you decide to grow marijuana is you could take the stalks and make hempcrete. Wow, look great. Thanks. Little Pig Store, what's up, bro? Hey, Harry, Little Pig Store, Mad Labs here. Good to see you. Good to see you too, bro. So Epic could work, though. That's awesome to know. Yeah. After this, well, like I mentioned, after I'm done with all the walls, I will be showing one of my Epic mixes for the roof. Um, and I just feel it's gonna work really good. But once the roof is done, the very outer sheathing will be, roof sheet metal that I'll have on top of that. Because the Epic, I'll be making a very insulative mix, which is the balsa mix, what I call the balsa mix, or rather what the mad scientist calls the balsa mix. So Epic, yeah. Scott, a good thermal build would be brick on these inside, insulation outside. Aircrete could be the insulator. Well, for this particular project, the steel studs and the rebar and the basalt mesh going on the outside and inside will give it a lot of strength. The actual aircrete itself will be about 5 inches thick, which will be plenty insulation uh, for this shed and for a lot of structures. I mean, 5 inches of aircrete, and it'll be either 30, 40, or 50 gallon mix for the walls. The foundation was a 30 gallon mix, so it's a denser mix. Captain Will, your message didn't show up for whatever reason. What kind of other concrete binders have you tried? I've tried a bunch of different binders, but for me and the methods that I build, I'm trying to stay away from adding a lot of different additives to my mixes just to keep the cost down. And that's the other reason why I like the Epic so much because the paper and foam, styrofoam, is free, and it's the only two things that I'm adding to my cement, and it's really impressive. So, but I've used Weldcrete. I've tried that stuff in my Aircrete, just to try and get different strengths. This was a couple of years ago already when I did those experiments. And what I do that I didn't get for myself on this build is calcium chloride, which is a cement accelerator. It's the main ingredient in cement accelerator. And I usually add about an ounce of that stuff to my cement slurry before adding the foam to it. And that just gets the cement, or rather aircrete at that point, to cure a lot quicker and a lot harder. And besides those things, I've added basalt fiber chop to my aircrete, and it's helped. It helped a little, and but really the idea here is to be able to build something inexpensively. And so what you see here, including the, was about, I think, 12, 12 or 1300 bucks to build a 10 by 10. That's all the wood panels, the cement, the steel studs. And anyway, that's what's going on here. So let me go put another panel up. Hi, Mrs. Aircrete.
Hello, Mr. Aircrete. Hello, everybody.
These flies are like,
Have no fear. Mrs. Aircrete is here.
That's that bug. Works really good. Ah,
Anybody say you need some pants?
Mrs. Aircrete to save the day.
Today?
Uh-oh. You're a superhero now, babe? Give me that cape. I need to protect my legs from these flies.
I heard you say that. I screamed, you got it.
Oh.
But it was a delay.
A delay? What, me hearing you?
Yep. Please hold while Mr. Aircrete is changing his pants. Sexy.
Oh man, these flies are brutal here. Mrs. Aircrete went and got me some pants because those flies were eating my legs alive with my shorts on. What? Let's see what you guys are writing here. Is the Epic a certain brand of Portland or something completely different? No, the Epic is just regular Portland cement and mixed with the ratios of the proper ratios of paper and styrofoam. As I mentioned before, the gentleman who contacted me wants to be referred to as the mad scientist, has been working with the stuff for over 10 years, and he's got all the formulas figured out. So I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel. Actually, I guess I did reinvent the wheel a little bit, because I was trying I was trying perlite instead of styrofoam, just because of the ease of getting it, opposed to grinding up the styrofoam beads. There are bangs video. Yeah, I guess Mrs. Aircrete's got bangs, if that's what you're referring to. Is that a bear I see?
No, that's just Mrs. Aircrete.
I don't get it.
But I could turn into a bear too.
Wow, far from a bear.
Bear or beer?
Oh, it was a bear. Maybe they meant beer. Maybe someone's thirsty for a cold brew on a Sunday.
Cheers.
Okay, so what I'm doing next is taking the wood panel and I'm putting oil on it, so that it helps release a little easier. Put it down right here. Right there. Put it down. Let it go. tilt the camera down?
Is that good?
Look at it.
There you go.
So I covered these plywood with boiled linseed oil. I got most of them on both sides. Some of them I just ran out of linseed oil. So some of them only have a coating on one side. But either way, the only other oil I had available was motor oil. So I'm just trying to put a thin coat on that just to help it release better. I didn't have enough vegetable oil or anything like that to use. So Kenny asks, does the mad scientist have a channel? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a channel. He doesn't do any of his mixes publicly. It's just word of mouth. If you know someone who knows him, because he's built some domes. And in the later video, I'll show a video clip to one of his domes being hit by a sledgehammer. It's pretty impressive. And so no, he doesn't. Let's see what else. Don't swat, Harry. Haha. Won't. Are you going to pump the Aircrete mix? Do you have a good Aircrete pump design figured out? Well, yeah, actually under this tarp right here is my machine. It's actually a sprayer for spraying different materials onto walls. Some kind of like grout pump. And anyway, the pump has it's a double diaphragm pump in there, and that works great for pumping Aircrete. Although I do have my own Aircrete mixing and pumping system that I'm working on. It just there's so much to do. I haven't got the time to build it yet, but I have I have it all designed out, and I just have to put it together, and it's going to be really great for mixing your Aircrete as well as pouring it. It's going to be a two-in-one device where you can mix and pump your Aircrete from the same machine. And the whole thing I'm working on now is developing it, or rather looking into the materials to construct it for the least, to make it as inexpensively as possible to build so that I could sell it for a really, really good price. But what I have laid out, it's a pretty sweet deal. So that's coming. But for now, if anyone out there is looking to pump their own Aircrete and you're looking for a pump, I've tested this double diaphragm pump already out. The panels there that are white, I poured some Aircrete in there already. Wait, my hands. I was pointing from my perspective, but right there, those white panels. I pumped the Aircrete in with this hose here. In fact, let me just remove the tarp so you can see it. This is the Tech Spray GS GTX 2000, and it's a Graco machine. I bought it used. I got a great. Oh, wait a minute. You can barely even see that. Let me tilt this down. Yeah, that's the machine. And the front part. This is the double diaphragm pump. It pumps really good. It pumps the Aircrete beautifully. And it comes with enough hose that the machine can stay right here. So what we do is we get another barrel that we mix the Aircrete in. And then we take a 5-gallon bucket and just fill the hopper. And I think that hopper holds like maybe 20 gallons or something. I forget. But either way, it's great for 2 people. One person can mix and pour the buckets into the hopper, and then the other person could just, with the hose, you just hold the other end up, and it pumps really good. So anyone looking to pump Aircrete, I mean, you don't have to get this machine in particular. This machine has a gas engine on it. But the point is the double, or rather the diaphragm pump. You can get either a single diaphragm pump or a double diaphragm pump, and it works really good for pumping Aircrete as well as, you know, some other materials that it was designed for. Yeah, so that's the pump. Can you share the ratios of Portland paper? At a later date, I'll be sharing that stuff, because there's a certain process to mixing it that if it's not done correctly, you'll get inconsistent batches. So that's why I'm just waiting right now until I'm ready. Like I mentioned, when I do the roof, you'll see me mixing that epic mix up. But without the proper procedures, you'll just have a mess, and I don't want to be responsible for you wasting your time and money doing it incorrectly.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that stuff. I'm not finding any good pump videos. He had made one, but the lid was very problematic. Not a good idea to reproduce. I've been wondering if a shop vac would work in any way, because Aircrete is light. I don't think a shop vac will work for pumping. I haven't tried it myself, but you know, you're welcome to damage your own shop vac if you like. I don't think it would work though. And the pump that blew up on me because of the lid was dangerous, and I have a new variation on that that's much safer that I just haven't had the opportunity yet to make. Is the application boiled linseed oil to act as a release? No, the linseed oil, you know, it might act as a release, but for me, the purpose of doing it is just so the plywood I bought doesn't get damaged by rain, because it's pretty much rained every day here.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know, my plan is to put the panels all up and start pouring some Aircrete later today. But if that doesn't happen, I don't want the plywood getting rained on and then start, you know, swelling and splitting. So I put boiled linseed oil I tried to get on both sides on all the panels I got, just to seal the wood. And what I'm actually using right now, because it's the only oil I had available, is some motor oil. I'm using actually 10W30, and I'm putting a thin coat on one side to act as a release agent for the plywood. So that's the deal with that. Pump with a Archimedes screw through a pipe, then through a hose. That would work, but the problem is the Archimedes screw is what I've seen out there online. They're not cheap. They're expensive. But that that definitely would work. Very nice. Thanks for a great explanation. Diaphragm pumps. Yeah, diaphragm pump guaranteed will work. I'm using a double diaphragm, but I'm almost certain a single diaphragm will work just as well. George, yo Harry, yo George. Uh, can't wait for the ratio video. That's going to be a big hit. Yeah, I agree. It really is because you know, the whole reason I got into Aircrete was for an inexpensive way to build structures, mainly a dome home. And from all my experimenting, I just personally found Aircrete to be too brittle, which is why my plans for my dome include 3 inches of concrete with reinforcing rebar. And then on top of that, that will be my structure. On top of that will be 9 inches of Aircrete. So that's how I plan to build the first 2 domes. After that, I'm thinking the rest of the domes I want to build will be just epic mixes because the stuff is just so strong. And there's a couple, well, there's a few mixers. There's the strongest mix, which is the oak. Then you have your yellow pine mix, the pine mix, and then the balsa mix. So there's 4 mixes that have already been worked out, the proper ratios. And obviously the balsa mix is the lightest mix and it's the most insulative. And I will be making samples maybe this week. I'll be making all 4 samples and doing a comparison between each other and between Aircrete. So I'll be weighing them out. I'll be weighing out the Aircrete samples and I'll be weighing out the Epic samples. And once they fully cured, I've got that weed torch, you know, it's like gets to 3,000 degrees. I'll be using that to do the thermal test with the flare camera. And once that test is complete, I'll be using the hammer and sledgehammer test on all the samples just to do a comparison of the strengths. So yeah, that's going to be good stuff coming out. Who has that much patience to wait? Captain, I hope you do. It's
Captain
only
America, don't give up.
another week or two. Laugh out loud, no choice. Yep, we have to wait. You know, I've been talking about doing a workshop since I guess the beginning of this year. My hope and plan was to have started it in the springtime, but the reality of moving out to Colorado from New York and just getting things set up and
Permits.
permits and just there's just been so many different things that it's just been delayed because the workshop was going to be based on the 12 domes that I planned to build. They weren't all going to be done right away. There were going to be 6 20-foot and 6 30-foot domes. And the workshops were going to be building those domes. So actually what I have in mind to do now, just to speed this process up, is to build the smaller 8-foot domes because I have those airforms ready. My plan is next week I'm getting a shipment of sand and gravel so that I can make some slabs. So I'm planning on making a few 10-foot diameter concrete slabs, and I'll be bolting my airforms down, inflating, and doing monolithic pours. So the idea I have, and you guys can tell me if you're interested. If you are, leave leave a message in the comments,
Leave your
or
name,
or
number,
leave
and your
me.
social security.
Don't say it. Or just leave me an email stating you're interested if you haven't already stated you're interested in a workshop. And these smaller domes can be done in a couple of days. The airforms will be showing how the airforms are made so that you can make your own airforms for really inexpensively. Because the airforms I have are reusable, so they're very heavy material. But if you're just doing a one-off build, I have a way where you can make your own airforms really inexpensively, and it helps for a number of methods of building. Like if you want to build with Aircrete bricks, it helps because you can put the bricks against these airforms and build a dome in a day. And anyway, so that. That's coming really soon. That I just can't wait to get that started already. Scott is saying I want to build a dome home here in VA, Virginia. I was thinking I was thinking a timberline kit, but I like your idea better. Yeah, the depending on what size dome you want to build, the airforms do work really well, and they're much faster to build. 3 inches of concrete with 9 inches of aircrete would have great thermal mass. I agree with you, and I already have. That's another thing I'll be offering later too. I have all the engineering plans done for it. Now, the engineering plans are for Colorado because it was a Colorado engineer. But if you can get your own engineer to put a stamp on it, I have those plans, and I'll definitely be selling those for a good discounted price. I actually have 3 sets of plans. I have one for a 40-foot diameter, uh, and I have the floor layout, which is, in my opinion, beautiful because I designed it myself. It's a two-story. It's a two-story dome, 40-foot diameter, with a stem wall, so you have a 24-foot tall ceiling on the inside. And the other are for 30-foot and 20-foot diameter domes. So those plans I have already, the floor plans and the structural engineering, so that you could build pretty much anywhere in the country, as long as you don't have some HOA rules that stop you from building a dome home in the area. Anyway, I'll be back for some more questions. I'm going to put up another panel. How long is this video? This has already been 50 minutes. I'll do another 10 minutes and then I'm going to stop and flip the camera around so I can have better recording.
Honey, let me ask you something.
If you tilt it, the bottom will have a big gap.
It's just a panel.
It's a number of things.
Okay, what do we do? Are you putting it on the double? Lift it, lift it, lift it, lift it. bottom part first, the very bottom.
Hold on, just hold it there. No, back. Read it from mine. Okay, what's going on here? 45-foot diameter, 40-foot diameter works. Yeah, I'll show my my floor plans in a later video, maybe tomorrow or something. How does the aircrete bind to the concrete in the dome? I'll probably the idea for my domes with adding the aircrete is first the structural concrete rebar will be done, so it'll be a 3-inch thick concrete dome, and then I have a second form that will go over the entire structure and the first airform, and that second form is going to be to hold the aircrete in the concrete. So just the normal wetting of the cement before applying the aircrete is the only thing I'll be doing, because you want to wet your concrete before adding cement to it, and or aircrete. So I won't be using any bonding adhesive because the aircrete is going to be 9 inches thick, be about 9 inches thick, and it'll be a monolithic core. There's a company out west that builds a dome in an egg shape. It's supposed to be the strongest shape in nature, and it would have a tall interior dimensions, but I forgot the name of the company. I think I might have seen what you're talking about, and I think they're using the sandbags, the long sandbags for making those egg-shaped looking domes, and they are really strong. I actually have an egg-shaped airform made. One of my videos, you can see me inflating it for the first time. Yeah, each stacked up. It's 11 feet tall and 8 feet wide, and I'll be using it to get stern for water storage and stuff like that. I bet you could use those primers they use for self-leveling compounds to concrete. You probably could. Top left corner, is that aluminum sticking out too far? Top left. No, it's just the steel studs and the rebar placed in there. Yeah, Weldcrete is the stuff I was talking about. Anyway, I'm gonna end this live video. I'll be coming out with a edited video, and I'll be talking about the floor plans I have, the structural engineering I have, and I'll be showing this stuff later. So peace out, everyone. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you later.